Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ladies Fashion Showcase. I'm Astrid. I'm here with my tag team partner for this show, Mel Ball. How are you, Mel?
You have so many tag partners. It's outrageous, my friend. I am doing amazing. I'm pretty happy right now on this Cinco de Mayo. I've got my tequila and iced tea. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty I'm pretty up there right now, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm a little tired just at the weekend, but still looking forward to everything that's happening this weekend. Obviously, as a WWE fan, we have
Hi,
Backlash coming up
Bobby.
tomorrow, and it's in none other than my beautiful island of Puerto Rico. So it's definitely special for me watching that pay per view tomorrow. And for those of you that don't know, I will be hosting the post show for local establishments with Ed and Parrish and perhaps Bobby. I'll be hosting the show at the post show as we talk about what happened in the pay per view. So that's gonna be exciting for me. I'm hopefully not an emotional mess after watching it. No
Hey,
promises.
I mean, the more emotion, the better. And that's what wrestling's about, right?
Yeah, very true. Um, we do have a few topics in hand. I figured you could start us off since you're the one with the order this time around. So go ahead, my Melba.
So the first thing that we need to start off with is congratulating the amazing Trinity for debuting on Impact Wrestling this week, along with Jody. Jody was on a nice match there with what was her name, Alicia.
Alicia Edwards, yeah.
I was gonna say I don't watch Impact regularly. I know she's the tiny but mighty one with the pink kendo stick,
Yes.
who has impressed me on multiple occasions. But yeah, Trinity making her debut on Impact. I mean, good for her. I mean, it's so nice to see her back in something again. As soon as I
Mhm.
started hearing about Mercedes kind of coming back, joining Stardom and all that, I was like, all right, where's your partner, girl? Why aren't you taking your partner with you?
Mhm.
She didn't take a partner with her because her partner was doing her own ish. She had
Yeah.
her own stuff on the go there. I'm really happy to see this. I think that Impact is going to be a good starting point for
Mhm.
for Trinity. I feel that though she is as talented as Monet, I don't feel that she has that loud boss bitch energy, I guess is the
Mhm.
right way to describe it, that Mercedes kind of has. And I feel that Impact is going to be the right place for her to kind of start getting that attitude, especially
Mhm.
working with someone like Deanna Perrazzo, who is just, I love her attitude now.
Yes.
When I first saw her in NXT, she was pretty underwhelming to me. Joining Impact has done just wonders for Perrazzo. It can only do wonders for Trinity. And it also keeps her close to home, so that
Mhm.
she's closer to her husband, who's still working for that company. But what I'm most excited about for this is that it gives her the opportunity to grow and for us to see what it is that she's capable of doing outside of, we'll say, that protective umbrella and blanket of the WWE and WWE creative. Astrid, how are you feeling about this being an Impact regular viewer?
I loved it more than anything because I going from like I'm gonna say from the beginning when this was filmed a week ago at this point I believe because it was on a Friday that they I advertised a surprise. So seeing first that Friday how many people were at the event knowing that she was gonna be there because they had advertised a surprise and then advertised her afterwards. So seeing that and seeing people posting the pictures of her and the videos of a little bit bits and pieces of the promo here, I was already excited about it and I'm waiting to see what it looked like on stream for me because I watch it on YouTube and then going to yesterday and then thinking about watching it as as it's going live on the YouTube channel there, thinking of it's great to see how many people through the day or even through like the beginning of the week were already asking how do I watch Impact. And this is what made me think about what happened with Mercedes and being in the New Japan and Stardom now is that it brings so many new eyes to the product because people miss them. And that's something that
Mhm.
we you and I always talk about it, just thinking that aspect is like I have people like on Twitter specifically going, these are the ways you can watch Impact depending where you're at, and seeing
Mhm.
that people bring like so many options to it, and thinking about other people that said, look, I purchased Impact Plus or here I purchased the membership on YouTube. Just to be able to see that, it's just incredible to think the impact that she has made, pun intended, already being that in her debut in Impact Wrestling. So that I think that was amazing to think about, and so many people how were just excited to see her. And not only that, but even as the show was happening and the show ending, seeing on my timeline all the people congratulating her, posting pictures of her gear and videos of the promo itself and little bits and
Mhm.
pieces. I love seeing how many people were happy for her more than anything, and how
Mhm.
looking forward to it because we think about it, it's basically been at this point almost a year since we saw her last in action in WWE. So it's been quite a while since we saw her in the ring, and I love the introduction to it. Though not only having her as the main event of the show, so we had to have people wait into the main event. It was the main event of the show itself. Having her come out, introduce herself as Trinity for the first time, and not Naomi now, and more of being herself. And she's like, "I'm here to glow." And there was little points in it that I saw her saying that I was really happy about. And Bobby saying Trinity would get to wrestle against different wrestlers like the show Giselle Shaw and Jody
Mhm.
Threat, Killer Kelly and Sasha. Yeah, definitely a great mix there.
Oh yeah.
Local establishment. Hello, thank you for stopping by.
Mhm.
Jobbed out wrestling. Her husband won the Impact World title after he had completely lost his value. Long live the rituals. But yeah, what I loved about her promo more than anything is that she praised. I don't want to say the past, but like the knockouts that were there beforehand, from Awesome Kong to Gil Kim, even Mickey James was there now, to what was basically the present and the future of the knockouts. Being people like Diana and Jordan that she mentioned that are there right now. So that was amazing to see. And just thinking about
Mhm.
the fact that she came on and she said, I have won championships before, but I'm ready to win that Knockouts world title, which obviously prompted Diana coming out. And I love the back and forth that they had it so far from the get go because she looked at Diana and told Diana, when you go against me, you're gonna wish you were fired again. And like Diana's reaction to that was priceless in it itself. And then Diana telling her was like, don't say that because you're gonna wish you walked out again after you faced me. And I was like, shush, that was already like fired up. And I love Jordan coming on not too long after and just saying like, I like how she came on. She just, is it hot in here? Is it the heat having going on between both of you right here? But what I love about anything is also about like the ending in itself of the promo is like how she came out and said, hey, I know it's between you guys are under siege coming up, but whoever is champion after that, they're gonna have to dance with me. And I love that ending too. Like as she left the ring, having Jordan and Diana face each other before she left was amazing to see. And Steve, hello, hope you're doing well. So happy to see Trinity and Impact. A great roster for her to work with. A shot is anniversary. I don't see why not. I want to thank Steve
Mhm.
because I was hit on his channel not too long ago, probably like an hour ago. So we had a live Q&A talking about Backlash and the new world title. So I was excited to see. So if you haven't checked it out, Steve does have great content. So definitely subscribe to his channel. Um, and Job Wrestling, I like to see that trend change, have her go through the roster first instead of getting a title shot right after signing. I
I
think
agree.
that's the vibe that it kind of gave me too, because she even said it. She's like, I want to start from the get go and face everybody on my way up. So we'll see how
Mhm.
long it takes her to get there. That's the my questioning point right now. But I feel like either way, whether she gets it right now or a few months later after she goes through a little bit of the roster, I feel like it's still going to be exciting to think about. Because
Mhm.
can you imagine the headlines if she does win the Knockouts World Championship from Diana or even Jordan?
Mhm. Mhm. Some girls who have been working very, very hard, very, very hard. Diana, I mean,
Yeah.
I always compare Diana to being the Zack Sabre Jr. of the female division. I don't really know a woman more technically sound than Perazo, but then you have Jordan Grace, who, I mean, she's been doing her own thing even outside of professional wrestling,
Mhm.
doing bodybuilding, doing competitive powerlifting, breaking records. I mean,
Mhm.
the girl is solid. I mean, you follow her Instagram, she only has, I think, less than like 0.9% body fat or something like that. It's insane how in shape that woman is. I'm so jealous.
Mhm.
But I do agree. I would like to see her work her way through the roster. Essentially, I don't. I've become very disenfranchised with people who kind of come into the company and go, "Oh, hey, I'm here, so I get a title shot." It's like,
Mhm.
you are someone over there. When you
Yeah.
come over here, you have to assume that you are a nobody, even though you have a name.
Yeah.
You do need to assume that you need to work for that name. People, as I mentioned, been grinding a hot minute since you haven't been here. And with Trinity, she hasn't been in the ring, as you said, for a year. And arguably, I think she did the very intelligent thing. by being very, very silent about what it was she was doing. She was almost like the complete opposite of her bestie Mercedes there, where Mercedes was putting out there that she was training. She was putting out there where she was training. She was putting out there how much she was training and all the things that she was doing in the meantime. Whereas Trinity has been very, mum's the word on it, very quiet, very secretive. She's still posting. If you follow her again on her social medias, you can see she's doing things. She's posting pictures of her and her husband, of her friends and family, but she wasn't talking about her professional stuff and what she had been doing, because she's clearly still in great shape and she's clearly still been training. Probably still been training with Mercedes, just a lot quieter about it. I do really enjoy that, and I do hope that she does work her way up through the Jodie Threats, through the Tasha Steeles, through the Giselle Shaws, get her name really established so that when she does win that title, because we know it's going to happen,
Mhm.
it will be just the cherry on top of the ice cream there. But then what else does this set up for cross company um, kind of workings there also? Once you have Trinity kind of sitting at the top there, then we have Mercedes, who also is kind of loosely involved with Stardom and NJPW, who also kind of work with Impact, work with ROH, work with AEW, work with CMLL. There's such opportunity there for Trinity now that I think was kind of maybe not given to her in the WWE. And I'm very much looking forward to see how it kind of progresses for her.
Yeah, that's just when you say about working with the different companies, makes you also think we have Forbidden Door. Is it August, if I'm not mistaken, that it's coming up sometime around there, or
I
June?
think so.
I know it's sometime
July or
during the
August,
summer.
yeah.
Yeah, and just thinking about the fact that, can you imagine? My first option will be Mickey versus Mercedes, but what if we get Trinity versus Mercedes, representing each one of their own companies at this point? Like, that's just amazing to think about.
I mean, something that just shot into my head as soon as you said that is all of these companies have a women's champion. Why couldn't we have a fatal four way? The AEW Women's Champion, the
Hmm.
NJPW Strong Women's Champion, whoever she may be,
Yeah.
the Impact Women's Champion, maybe another champion in there. Throw in Tam Nakano just for giggles there. Bring over that real assertive Stardom crossover in the red belt champion there. That could be an incredible match.
Right, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Going back to a local establishment, what this comes down to is by Impact by far has the best women's division, North America, arguably the world even. I feel like what I love about it, and something that Cody and I talked about last night on Making an Impact too, is just thinking about the fact that they spotlight the woman very well, whether they have like last night they only have one match, but we had a lot of backstage segments. We have, their promo being the main event, so they're still being showcased throughout the night. For me, the other women's division that gets showcased in a similar aspect is NXT for sure, because
Mm-hmm.
they do give you at least two women's matches through the night, and we get backstage segments and interviews throughout the night as well. So it's very well balanced when it comes to the women's representation.
Mm-hmm.
And having Ed come in here, hey, you lovely lady, hello, Mister.
Hello,
Um,
Ed.
and Steve, thank you for the plug. Excellent points on how excited the future is for Trinity. So many possibilities. Yeah, that's what I liked the
Mhm.
most about it right now. It's like there's so many things that could be happening moving forward. Like we said, we had that Forbidden Door there. Like you never know what's gonna happen there.
Trinity
No,
versus Mayu. Ooh,
uh,
that would be a different one. Just with that reckless disregard that Mayu Iwatani has, and then that safeness that Trinity has there, that would be an interesting dynamic to see kind of go head to head there. But hey, Mayu Iwatani, IWGP Women's Champion,
yeah.
which brings us to our next topic. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Mayu Iwatani defeated Mercedes Moné for the IWGP Women's Championship, but I don't know if you got to see that match, Astrid. That match was off the chain. Mayu Iwatani, again, reckless disregard for her own personal safety and health. She was all over the place and she was up in Mercedes' face. And what I really, really liked about this match was that it was there's sometimes a little questionality with Mercedes and if she's wrestling as a heel or if she's a face. Sometimes in the match she just changes direction. She'll come in as the face and then suddenly she's the heel. From start to finish in this, Mercedes was the heel, and I loved it. because the crowd was absolutely on fire for it. And Mercedes did so well. Her gear coming into it was absolutely amazing. Shout out to Eddie Guerrero in his Black Tiger mask outfit. It was such a heartwarming moment for me. But this was absolutely a high speed match. It was comparable to something that you would watch with Azumi and Starlight Kid, which are some of the most incredible high speed matches that you're going to see in Japan right now. Um, Again, Mercedes just performed so well. The lead up into the match itself, where the girls were attacking each other during their promos. Mercedes also had a pretty substantial goose egg on her head going into the match. These girls, they did very well with this setup. This was exactly what I wanted to see going into a championship match, let alone a women's championship match. They did so good. I feel like Mayu, or not Mayu, Mercedes got some flack for putting Mayu through the table, and I'm like, I don't know what anybody is complaining about. As a big fan of professional wrestling, that spot was done so perfectly. I don't think she could have done it more perfectly if she tried. Just the lead up was just, as Andre likes to say, it was a chef's kiss. It was just absolute perfection. I honestly didn't think that Iwatani was actually going to take it. I thought that Mercedes was actually going to retain.
Mhm.
And then after the match, seeing Mayu actually call Mercedes back to the ring to have a talk with her and be like, look, if you want to come back, you want to be here, you have more than a spot here. You can come back here anytime. Which Mercedes kind of left it very open ended.
Yeah.
Will she? Won't she? We'll see. I really hope she does, because I feel like this has done tremendous things for Stardom, and I feel that her involvement with Stardom can only help build up those ladies even more. Astrid, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I keep thinking the same way you do. Just I keep thinking of the same thing what happened with Trinity. It's how it started with a Mercedes for me, thinking about all the eyes that she brought to New Japan and Stardom just because she got advertised for the show. And even
Mhm.
now, is it research? No, I forgot. Is it Resurgence that she's advertised for now? I keep forgetting the name for
Yes,
some reason. Yeah,
resurgence.
now it's like a new championship being brought over here, and thinking of somebody like Willow. And imagine Willow and Mercedes. I would not mind seeing that. And just thinking about
Mhm.
the aspect that we have, AEW slash Ring of Honor represented there with Willow as well.
Mhm.
I think it's very important. And one of the ladies that we mentioned, she's representing CMLL, and then we have Mercedes representing Stardom there. So I love the representation that we have from the
Mhm.
companies in this match in itself. And just thinking, there's two matches happening, and then the winners face each other later on. So it's like that automatically guarantees three matches in one night for the ladies, and
Mhm.
obviously the two ladies are going to be performing twice in one night. So that's something that we think about, and we have to remind ourselves going
Mhm.
into that pay-per-view. So I feel like it's a great way to advertise it. I can only imagine, I'm like, by the way of the buzz that we got with Mercedes already in Stardom, I wouldn't mind seeing Mercedes in the finals, because I will get such a buzz already as it is in the
100%.
community. I feel like she's one of the two ladies. Definitely has to be Mercedes. It's just a matter of who will be that second person to face her. So
Mhm.
I feel like
Mhm.
either way, they're both doing what I love, is just bringing new eyes to that product and highlighting those divisions that a lot of people seem to put in the back burner and forget about. Because a
Mhm.
lot of people always talk about AEW and the lack of booking we have there for the women, and WB kind of being like a little half and half at the moment. But a
Mhm.
lot of people don't talk about how consistent the knockouts have been in the last couple of years, especially being led on now with people like Mickey James and Gil Kim behind the scenes, who have been really helpful to representing the
Mhm.
women very fairly on the show. So yeah, just like I love the when you think about that marketing aspect and how well it looks like for Impact right now. All I've seen is interviews of Trinity left and right right now since her debut, and the clips they posted on their socials. Quickly posting her entrance music, and not only hearing the music in itself, but hearing how loud the crowd was, to the point that I couldn't hear the music for the first couple of seconds.
Mhm.
It's amazing to think about that aspect, like how many people are now opening their eyes to different companies and seeing a product that's different from the W product that we usually watch, just because
Mhm.
of Mercedes and Trinity. Jump that wrestling.
100%.
When I hear Willow, I still think of Screaming Jeff Hardy. Will be interesting match because Hardy and Monet both crumble. Um, yeah, I thought about that for a while too. So thinking of Willow, I do think of Jeff Hardy sometimes too. I had to think about Willow Nightingale to be specific. Yes.
Yes, yes. From here, we have to obviously because we are touching on it, moving into the tournament that is going to be at Resurgence for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. Very very happy to see NJPW. Really integrating women into their shows as they are usually like got the all men's show in NJPW, the all women's show in Stardom. It's nice to see because the two companies are now owned by the same people to see that crossover happening a lot more. I'm still waiting for the announcement of another historical takeover show, just because I feel that would be the perfect place for Mercedes and Okada to team up again for their Battle in the Valley deal that they made. That better come to term. Just saying, don't make deals and then walk away from them, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we were saying, NJPW Strong Women's Championship. The first round is going to be Mercedes Moné taking on Stephanie. Oh, I don't know how to say this very well. Vaquier.
I
Is it
believe so.
Vaquier? She's Spanish.
Yes.
Representing CMLL. I have seen some clips of her. I do follow CMLL quite regularly, mostly for the dudes. Sorry. Not so much for the ladies. But I have seen some clips of this Stephanie Vecchiera girl, and she is very, very fast. Very, very good, accomplished lucha. Mercedes is going to have her a little bit of struggle there. I think that's going to be a really fun, high-speed match that we've become used to seeing Mercedes perform in the kind of Stardom kind of division. But what I'm super excited for, Astrid, is Willow Nightingale versus my and Andre's personal favorite, Momo Kogo. And my goodness, is that going to be a fun match? Because despite Momo Kogo's, tiny diminutive size, she's taller than me. I'm just gonna straight say she's not tiny, tiny, tiny. She's 2 inches taller than me, which is probably not saying too much, actually, because she's only 104 pounds. She's been wrestling 3 years and has been kind of in the CMLL scene, which I didn't realize before. She actually did her excursion in CMLL in 2021. And something that also interested me, I don't know if you've looked at the picture of Momo Kogo. She's my age. She's 38. She looks 12.
Yes, she
Bless
does.
her heart, though. This woman fights so hard. She is a spry little fighter, this girl. She rocks a really awesome 619 that is just, she can pull it out of nowhere. If I'm Willow, I'm not shutting the door on her too quickly. Momo Kogo has this not even just Momo Kogo, the tiny women within Stardom have this insane ability to not go down without a massive fight. So I don't feel that Momo Kogo is unfortunately going to progress in the tournament. I do feel that unfortunately Willow is going to take that match from her, and I do feel that Mercedes is going to take the match from Stephanie, and we will see Mercedes and Willow in the main event for that NJPW Strong Women's Championship. But I think that the pathway of getting there is going to be just as exciting as that main event, just because these women are going to be putting absolutely everything into it, these matches, because this is a massive showcase, as you had mentioned, a massive marketing showcase for all of these companies involved, and it's happening on a North American stage. So exciting. Astrid, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, that representation in itself from the companies is what stands out to me more than anything. And thinking of like New Japan doesn't have a women's division, so I wonder how moving forward, whoever wins, I'm not gonna say a name just obviously because we don't know at this point, but like whoever wins, I wonder how moving forward that will be towards building that division, because as you said, we have Mercedes who's New Japan / Stardom, so she's doing both. Stephanie's CML CMLL. So she's
Mhm.
definitely not within that company. And then we have Willow, who is more like AEW slash Ring of Honor. So does
Mhm.
that leave only Momokomo to be a part of it with Mercedes? So I wonder like how else that they will build up from there to hopefully build a women's division there. And I think
Mhm.
it's also interesting how they went from let's have Mercedes drop this championship to give her perhaps another one, which is another interesting point when you think
Mhm.
about it. It's like that possibility there's very, very like striking.
Mhm. With NJPW Strong, it's more the North American product.
Mm, yeah.
They consider that more of like it's not disconnected from the main NJPW kind of roster, but it sort of is. There's people that you see on NJPW Strong that we haven't seen on NJPW and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa there. So there is a trade over there. I think with the NJPW Strong Women's Championship, they'll be able to build more of a division, as it were, working more with the CMLL, who's going to be like really, really close to them in Mexico there, because I think Strong is based in LA, California there.
Yeah, no,
So
in California.
CMLL super close. I think ROH is super close at that point also. AEW, I mean, it's just going to be a short plane ride for them. It's not 14 hours from Japan, at least, right? It's like
Yeah.
maybe 4 hours from Florida kind of deal. So I feel that they'll be able to build a lot more and invite a lot more. I would personally love to see Lady Frost hop up in there at some point because goodness have mercy. She's doing so well right there. I would love to see her pop up in there. Um, yeah, I would love to see some
Mm-hmm.
indie female wrestlers pop up in there. Gigi Ray would be a perfect one to just pop up
Mm-hmm.
in there. Yeah, I definitely feel that the NGBW strong women's division will become very sturdy after a little bit. The IWGB Women's Championship, it kind of sounds like they are only going to really have it defended at like the big kind of shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like they're probably going to do something very similar where it's just going to be we're going to throw a name out there and see who kind of bites. That being said, would love to see Jazzy Gabbert come back in
Mm-hmm.
for the IWGP Women's Championship. She did make it to that final round and she beat Ava White to get there also. She went to battle with Kyrie. I personally would love to see her kind of challenge for that title there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to also go back to what Ed is saying in here as well, and that is this comment. I know we're talking about amazing women being champions, and let's not forget about Camille. Yeah,
No.
Camille's going to what I think 700 days now as champion, and I might no matter who comes in here, just a quick little obstacle for her at this point. It seems like
Mhm.
yeah, I wish I would see her like highlighted more often as well. But it's also nice to see how she welcomes any challenger, and just as they come in, they just leave because she's done with them, and she beats them. So it's interesting to see how powerful and strong she's been built up to be
Oh, yeah.
in NWA. Like that's impressive to think of, like how dominant she's
Mhm.
been over there, no matter
She's
who they
an
bring in
animal on
here.
that one.
Yeah, and also to Ed's comment, could we see more of the AEW Japanese talent working with NJPW Strong? I mean,
I wouldn't
that could be
object to that.
yeah, and like, why
I would
not build
love
that
to see
relationship more
Kita get
often?
in with Mayu Iwatani. Holy heck, that'd
Mhm.
be awesome.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of
Actually,
possibilities. So
Suzu Suzuki versus Shida would be an incredible match because those two women know very much how to hurt people.
yeah, and yeah, that's what I love about this right now. Is just that between Stardom and NJPW and AEW and Ring of Honor, I feel like right now there's so many possibilities to what could happen. Like I said, we
Mhm,
we do have Forbidden Door, and then we have the Impact crossover as well that's happening again, which I was not
mhm,
expecting to have so quickly. So I feel like right now it's just a moment of so many possibilities. There's so many indie talent as well, as Bobby said in the comments. Like
mhm.
you never know who's going to show up and be a part of this, and be represented here and hopefully get that opportunity. We have people like Kylie King who just signed with Impact not too long ago, and we used to see
Mhm,
her in the Indies, so you never know what she's going to show up next. And like
mhm.
Mercedes has said before, she's like, I'm like a free agent. I can show up anywhere. It's like kind of like book me. Yeah, I'll be anywhere and anywhere that you want me to be at. So I think that it just opens that. I would like to see more of those kind of crossovers between the ladies because it's not often that we see them like this. So like this NJPW resurgence, these two matches, that's why they they stood out to me because I just keep thinking of like this crossover. It doesn't really happen often with the ladies, and I love to see it
Mhm.
not only be highlighted that night, but to see it happening more often even afterwards. I feel like there's more from El. How about Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling at NJPW Wrestler
Oh.
against Mercedes?
Andre actually watches the Tokyo Joshi more than I do. I'm more the NJPW Stardom girl, but like I have no problem. Like Stardom has been showcasing a lot of the girls from Shimmer, or sorry, not Shimmer, Ice Ribbon. They have had the Just Tap Out with Inaba. They're Just Tap Out champion, teaming with God's Eye and Suri and those girls. I'd have no problem. The more people that can get showcased, absolutely, the better. Especially like that's how I've found out about Prominence and Suzu Suzuki and Risa Serra. That's how I found out about Saki. There's so many amazing women in Japan who are wrestling who I just have no idea. I just found out about Maki Ito,
Hmm.
crazy little Jigglypuff chick with the pigtails and the pizza cutter. Like,
Yeah.
trying to figure out who that was. I would love to see her go toe to toe with Suzu Suzuki. Those two ladies would just be sitting there going, while hitting each other with the, you know, like
They
that
would.
would be an amazing match. That would actually probably be a death match I would actually like to see, which is not,
Mm.
that's not a thing for me. I do not like death matches.
No, which and
But
you made me
yeah,
also think
any kind of
about
crossover, 100%.
yeah, and I kept thinking about you. You reminded me of Club Venus and the interaction we had on Twitter between Mariah and Naomi. So and like Trinity, so it's like you never know something like that will happen. It's like I know she wanted to do the entrance with them because of the because of the dancing they have, but you never know what will come out of it. It's like Club Venus
She's got the
keeps
assets.
expanding, so might
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean, according to them, all you need are boobs. That's all you
Well,
need are boobs. And that's, I mean, obviously there's going to be certain areas where people just cannot do that, but like, hey, sign me up. I want some
right.
I want some Venus money.
I think about that's why I love about this right now. So many possibilities. I know how they start teasing each other online of like Mariah's like, hey, you can join us and do the entrance with us, and she starts putting gifts of like Trinity as she's dancing as well. Um,
Yeah.
and one another thing that I also wanted to highlight with this is just seeing that support that we have between Mercedes and Trinity back and forth with each
Mhm.
other, and even with Tamina and even with Bailey involved in there, and see how they go to each other's shows. And I seen pictures of Mercedes in the crowd and just taking pictures and videos of Trinity as she's debuting for Impact, and
Mhm.
even like doing it for her show, and even like pictures behind the scenes of Tamina being there and hiding in the background, but she's
Mhm.
watching Trinity do her thing, and just seeing the support they have for one another. It's just I love it. I really do. It just like it shows more than anything how they supported each other because they started
Mhm.
together. I feel like a lot of people forget when Sasha went to the main roster, she was part of Team Bad with who other than Trinity and Tamina. They have been
Mhm.
with her from the get go. So I know even though we know that she knew going into the main roster, but learning from both of them I can imagine will be such an experience that it keeps you like that relationship and it keeps you tied up to each other for so long,
Mhm.
and see even now so many years later how they're still supporting each other and going back and forth. And yeah, I love seeing like Trinity posting about Mercedes in her matches, and now I see Mercedes posting about Trinity. It's like, oh, World Impact is Trinity's making her debut. Those little things that we love to see, and how they
Mhm.
just post about each other and gush about what the other's doing. I love that kind of friendship. I love seeing that,
Mhm.
and it just shows a testament to how strong their relationship is between both of them, and how women can succeed when they actually support each other, because it's not like about it's like, oh, she's in one company, I'm in another one, so we can talk about each other. No, they're actually promoting each other's companies and each other's
Mhm.
stuff, and that's just beautiful to see. I love seeing that more than
Mhm.
anything.
100%, 100%. Because so many other people would just be like exactly what you just said. Oh, they're in another company. I can't support them. Or the company itself would be like, your
Mhm.
friend is in another company. You can't support them. It's nice to see people like Bailey saying, okay, well, go F yourself. I'm still going. And she still goes, it, and mercifully, I don't watch WWE, so I don't know that that's had a negative impact on her or not, but I don't think it has. I still see EO and Dakota Kai and her still on TV, so obviously it's not negatively impacting them, which is good because, we don't need things smelling any more Vincy over there again than it already is. But you're absolutely right. It is a testament to their friendship, and it really does show, amazing what happens when you uplift people instead of cutting them down, what it is that you both can do in your lives. People, be nice.
And I also think about of like the way Mercedes has been, because even though she's wrestling, she's just doing so many other things aside from wrestling, which I
Mhm,
love to see as well. Which is something that I am excited for Trinity to hopefully get on and do sometime soon now that she's freer. Because if we think about it, they haven't really said how long she's in contract with Impact for.
mhm,
Hoping is for at least a few months, enough that we can have a couple matches with her and a couple of the girls from the roster. But also
mhm,
thinking about now she can pursue some outside projects that maybe she's been holding off on because she was set up in WWE, and now she can put her
mhm,
name out there. And I think of like the way that Mercedes, every time she went and didn't appear, she had the championship with her. So thinking of like Trinity doing something like that in the sometime in the future, it's something that I'm hoping to see as well. And I'm
mhm,
just excited thinking of like now she can do everything she's been thinking of doing. I know she had she did have a couple of singles before, so maybe she'll keep singing. And I know we know with her dancing, you never know what comes out of that. Maybe she'll get into acting. So I think there's another end of possibilities there as well of what she can do in the future, aside from wrestling. And as a fan, you just want to support everything they do in some way, shape, or form. So I feel like
mhm.
such an exciting time for not only for the women, but for the fans of the female wrestlers too, thinking like how
100%.
we can support them too. So I love seeing that so much. I'm just
Mhm,
excited for Trinity having this opportunity, because I know she had her moments in WWE that she was able to shine, but
mhm,
I feel like they didn't capitalize on it, because we have moments like the Rumble when she returned with her natural hair and people were talking online about her going viral, and then never capitalized on something like that when most companies would have. So I just think about like now she's in a place that she said like she can glow, and I want to see her glow. And
mhm,
I already saw little clips of her match with Kylie and King that's come. I don't know if it'll be coming up, or if it's something that was just like a dark match. But just seeing how for Kylie that meant so much, having just to be able to wrestle Trinity, which is something that we never thought would be happening because we kept thinking she was tied up with WWE for so long. Um,
mhm.
like I said, you think of all the possibilities of the people that could go against each other now, and just thinking like I can imagine somebody thinking Trinity's my dream match, and now it's I can make it happen because she's more free in that aspect now.
Mhm,
And as
mhm,
Bobby's saying, looking forward to watching Trinity's matches on Impact Wrestling. Yeah, I feel like now you don't know who will be the next person, and they decide to have her go from like in a way from the bottom up, and who will she
mhm,
be facing on the way there. So I'm just excited to what happens now next with both of them.
mhm, mhm. I I have to add, because I don't watch WWE regularly. Was when she debuted with her natural hair. That was when she did the Wasp cosplay, right? Where she had the
No,
pigtails.
that's one, but the one she did for the Rumble, she had like an orange gear, and it was that moment that it was her, Charlotte, and Bianca starting for the Rumble, and all three of them had amazing
Right.
chemistry. But after that, not much happened really
Yeah. I
afterwards.
mean, it was still very Vincey. The WWE had a disease right there, and it was Vince McMahon. Um, yeah. I I got opinions on that we're not going to share. Um, she's in a better place now, is what I'm going to say. She's in a better place where I think that her creativity, her ability, and her drive is actually going to be taken into consideration and actually listened to by the powers that be, whether that's the little guy or their creative department. I feel that Impact is going to be a better place for her to be able to express herself and be who she truly wanted to be within professional wrestling. Again, as I'd mentioned before, without that umbrella of the WWE kind of telling her what to do and when to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have a
bye,
nice
Ed.
dinner and see you tomorrow. But no, before we wrap up, I wanted to see, where can the people find you? What else do you have going on the next couple of week or so, I guess, if you want to call it? What do you have going on, Mel?
Next week, yeah. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Collins Melball, or you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Facebook at Melball Collins. I got to remember which ones I got. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, Andre Melball's Wrestling Talk. We're going to be dropping an episode tonight, actually, about one of our NJPW shows. We're going to be recording again on Sunday and dropping on Monday and Wednesday our NGPW shows, as well as another Stardom show, which is so great. I'm so happy to be enjoying my wrestling again. And of course, you can always catch me on here on the Ladies Wrestling Showcase every 2 weeks with the beautiful, talented, natural Astrid over there. Otherwise, you can catch me on our local establishment every couple
Mhm.
of weeks with some spooky ooky ish. We got Paramindful with the amazing, talented Carl Carofel and Alex the Werewolf. We like talking about some weird stuff. We like going off on tangents on that. It goes really off the rails. And Astrid, if the
Yeah.
people are wanting to follow you, my beautiful friend, where are they going to find you?
But I say you got mailbox mix that you have on there too. So if you like drinking and want to
Yes.
try something new, go on the TikTok and the Instagram, and you'll be able to see Belle trying something new
Avoid the whiskey. I'm just
and
saying.
torturing herself sometimes for our entertainment and in that type of way.
That is
Um,
true.
for yeah, for me, first you can find me tomorrow, like I mentioned earlier, doing the backlash post show for our local establishments with myself, Adam Parrish, and hopefully Bobby. If not, he'll be producing for us. After that, you can find me on Tuesday doing taking over with Ed, who was in the comments just earlier, and then Thursday making an impact with Cody. And as Mel said, every 2 weeks we're here with Ladies Session Showcase, talking about women's wrestling in some way, shape, or form. And like I mentioned earlier, I was a little bit earlier on Steve's channel, who was earlier in the comments, a CW Wrestling channel. If you haven't checked it out, we had a live Q&A talking about Backlash and the championship. And a lot of Zelina Vega because I was involved in there. So we had to talk about it. I do have an episode of I Should Ask dropping tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, 3 o'clock. Double check on the channel. Um, yeah, I have it for tomorrow 3 o'clock. It's with Samira, who is somebody that I love to be able to chat with her because she does a lot of stuff within the wrestling community, from like ring announcing to I know she doesn't want to comment it, but she does a lot of ring announcing, backstage interviewing, in her background and what she's building herself in wrestling media, and the people that inspired her. Even talking about meeting Randy, I didn't know she met Randy before, but I know she's a huge fan. So, those little things I was excited to chat with her finally. So that will be on my channel, available tomorrow. And then hopefully on Sunday, will be available on the podcast platforms. Just like here with this episode, as you see, it's available on YouTube and Twitch, but then it'll be available on Sunday on the podcast platforms, and we'll have the replay on by Breaker Media. I want to thank Mike for always giving us a platform to have our videos there and showing us off a little bit later after we have it on here. So we appreciate you, Mike, for your support on that too. And like I said, check out our local establishments. If you haven't yet, you can click on the comment and you can go to the channel itself and subscribe if you haven't. Click on the bell to get notified when they go live. We do have a lot of uploads almost on a daily basis at this point. We got booked and busy now in our local establishments, but we
Mhm.
have from the raw watch along to as we doing taking over turnbuckle talk. We do have ring respect radio. We mentioned prayer mindful. We have boar's nest now with video games as well. So I feel like
Mhm.
there's a little bit of everything. We do
Busting out.
have busting out on Sunday. I'm like trying to go by calendar order. I gotta get my calendar in my mind. We also have
Marvel
a new
talk.
episode, Marvel Talk, that they have. I think tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, they're doing
Correct.
a Guardians of the Galaxy. So we're gonna be chatting about that. It's spoilery, so if you haven't seen it, save it until you have seen it, like me, because I haven't been able
Mhm.
to yet. We do have an episode of the mental health episode that's coming out next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
We talk about mental health, so I think that's really important going to maybe in mental health month. And I do
Mhm.
have an episode of Killer Cuts that's happening chapter 3 with Bobby coming up soon, talking about the movie Sick that's on Peacock. So if you haven't seen it, go watch the movie and then go to our discussion later on afterwards about it.
Right.
But that's what I love about our local establishment. It's a little bit of everything. So you'll be able to find
Mhm.
what you like there. So that's why I say subscribe and keep watching what you like watching there, and follow along, because you never know what else is going to happen anytime soon between the little
Mhm.
gaps that we have in our schedules now. But I want to thank everybody for being in the chat here with us and supporting us here, watching, and with your comments today. We really appreciate it. Um, Yes, I said we have a lot going on this weekend with Backlash, but follow our local establishments on the social media, as you never know what might happen with Backlash, and even we have NXT Battleground happening sometime soon. I do have a special guest coming out for that show since Ed won't be with me, so stay tuned to that. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and then we'll see you next time.